Hello students, today we will do atomic structure question part 2. Disclaimer, the images used in our slide decks are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in the deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So what we will do today is we will practice question. So there will be total of 9 questions from 10 to 18. So question number 10. Question number 10 says that energy required to stop the ejection of electron from copper plate is 0.24 electron volt. If radiation of lambda 253.7 nanometer strike the plate, the work function is, options are A 4.65 electron volt, B 4.89 electron volt, C 4.24 electron volt, and D 3.0 electron volt. You have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us try to solve this question. So first of all, what is being asked in the question? So the question is said that energy which is required to stop the ejection of electron. So basically when we just see the photoelectric effect, if we have to supply some energy to say eject the electron, right? So the same thing is mentioned that the energy required to stop the ejection of electron is given. Okay, and that value is given as 0.24 electron volt. Later on, the second thing that is given is if the radiation of lambda 253.7 nanometer strike the plate, the work function is. So you have to basically find the work function. So first of all, the answer is A 4.6 electron volt for those who have solved the question. Now let us see the solution. So what is the energy of photon? So energy of photon will be equals to work function plus the kinetic energy absorbed, right? So that will be written as W naught. W naught is representing the work function and EV naught is representing the energy absorbed. See, E is the electric charge and V naught is the stopping potential. Clear? Now this EV naught is equals to the kinetic energy. This is the extra energy that we have provided other than the energy that is required to pull the electron. So that will be used as the kinetic energy, right? So this energy is say given, right? So basically what is given here is that, so say you have radiated your metal with this lambda, okay? After that we have electrons ejected from the surface and those electrons are moving with some kinetic energy. Now the work function or the energy that is required to stop those electrons is this much, right? So hence we have said that this is the 0.24, which is the energy that is required to stop the electron, or you can say that this is the kinetic energy of the electron. Okay, so this is the very much equation we can think of very easily. So see, we have two parts. We have applied energy, and second, the electrons are ejected with some kinetic energy. Now we are applying opposite energy to stop the electron. Okay, so they are coming out, but their kinetic energy is being neutralized by the potential that we have applied, right? So if you just calculate the energy corresponding to this in terms of your say joule or something like that, then you can get your what kinetic energy. So this is also kinetic energy, but in terms of electron volt, and our answer is also required in terms of electron volt. So see, so what we will do first, we will calculate the energy of photon according to this lambda. So lambda is given 253.7 nanometer. We have converted into meter. Okay, then we got this much joule. Now since the answer is required in electron volt, we have converted this to electron volt by dividing it by 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19. That will give us 4.9 electron volt. So this is what? This is the energy of photon. Now what is the energy that we have applied to stop the electron? It is 0.24. So total energy is this much. and the energy we have applied to stop the electron, or the kinetic energy of the electron is this much. Therefore, work function can be easily calculated by putting all these things in equations. So if you put here 4.89 in this E photon, that will give you 4.565 4.665 as your electron volt, which will be your work function. Okay. Next question, question number 11. Question number 11 says that when an electron is excited from ground level to fifth orbital, the number of spectral lines obtained in Bohr spectrum of hydrogen atom is. The options are A 5, B 8, C 10, D 15. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay. Now let us try to solve this question. First of all, what is the question that is being asked? The question is saying that we have excited an electron from ground level to the fifth orbit. Now the number of spectral lines in Bohr spectrum of hydrogen atom is, means the electron has now been excited to fifth orbit. Now it will come back to the ground state. Now there are various ways to do so, right? So we have to calculate that what are the number of, so for say we can transit from 5 to 1, 5 to 4, right? So we can do several type of transitions. So we have to find that what are the number of transitions that are possible. So that will be the equals to the number of spectral lines that will be observed, right? Okay, so the answer is 10, C10. Now we will not do it manually. What we will do is we will use a formula which is this, n into n minus 1 by 2. Very simple formula to apply. Just put n is equals to 5, which is the orbit at which your electron is excited. So that will give you 5 into 5 minus 1 or by 2 or 5 into 4 by 2. So your final answer will be 10. Okay, so very easy formula. You don't have to do it manually and see that how many transitions are there. You will just apply this formula and you get your answer. Clear? Okay. Now moving on to next question. Question number 12. Question number 12 says that how many times the electron go round the first Bohr's orbit of hydrogen in 1 second. Options are A 0.657 into 10 to the power 15. Option B is 6.57 into 10 to the power 15. Option C 6.57 into 10 to the power 10. And option D 65.7 into 10 to the power 12. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us try to solve this question. So first of all, what is the question being asking? So it is the question is saying that how many times the electron go round the first orbit of hydrogen in 1 second. Okay, so the question looks very obvious. So we have to basically see that in 1 second, so if the electron is in first orbit, then in 1 second how many complete round the electron will take. So first of all, the correct answer is B, which is 6.57 10 to the power 15. How we will solve it? So we know for hydrogen atom, V1 is this. So this is the formula of V1. And R1 is this. So V1 is given as 2 pi E square by H. And R1 is H square by 4 pi square ME square. Now, circumference of first orbit is how much? 2 pi R1. Okay, and we know the value of R1. It is being given here. So we put this here. So 2 pi H square by 4 pi squared ME square. Or we can write it as H square by 2 pi ME square. So this is your circumference of the first orbit. Now what will the number of rounds electron in first orbit? How we'll do it? So we know the formula of speed. It is distance by time. So what will be the time? So time will be equals to, so what are we doing here? See, so speed is equals to distance by time. We know that. Okay. So we are using the same formula here, and we are saying we are saying by V1 we can say that. So this is the V1. So V1 is what? It is the velocity or the distance covered in 1 second. Okay, if all the units are taken in your say SI unit, so V1 is what? V1 is the distance covered in 1 second. Now if you divide this distance by your circumference, then you will be able to know that how many circumferences have been covered in V1 meter, right? Because all of these are in SI units. So you can simply calculate by V1 by 2 pi R1. So V1 distance is covered by the electron in 1 second. Now how many 2 pi R1 will be there? So that will be V1 by 2 pi R1. You can think it in this way. Okay, so in 1 second V1 distance is covered. So in 2 pi R1 second, how many distance will be covered? That will be V1 by 2 pi R1. Clear? Okay. Now putting this all back in the equation. So V1 we already know it's 2 pi square by h, and this value 2 pi R1 we have calculated here, which is h square by 2 pi me square. Putting all this, we reduce this equation to 4 pi square me4 by h cube. Now we know what is value of all the given this term, all the constants. So it is 4, pi is 3.14 whole square, mass of electron is 9.108, so you can take it 9.1 also, no problem, into 10 to the power minus 28 multiplied by 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 10 raised to the power 4, that is your charge, okay, divided by h cube, which is your Planck's constant, 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 27, and that is in your power 3. So if you calculate this thing, you will get the answer as 6.57 10 to the power into 10 to the power 15. So this much rounds are covered per second. Clear? Okay. Now moving on to next question. Question number 13. Question number 13 says that which hydrogen-like species will have same radius as that of Bohr orbit of hydrogen atom? Okay. Options are A, n is equals to 2 Li2 plus, B, n is equals to 2 Be3 plus, option C, n is equals to 2 He plus, and option D, n is equals to 3 Li2 plus. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the solution. So what is the question? The question is that which hydrogen-like species will have the same radius as that of Bohr's orbit of hydrogen atom? We have to see. So there are multiple hydrogen-like species which are given, which is hydrogen-like species like which have one electron, and we have to see that which have the same radius as that of Bohr orbit of hydrogen atom. So the correct option is B, n is equals to 2 beryllium 3 plus. How will solve it? So radius of orbit is given by n square h square by 4 pi square me square 1 by z. If you put all the constant other than the variable, so what is the variable? N is the variable. N is basically your what? It is your orbit number, and z is your atomic number. So it will depend upon the say your element and which orbit you are dealing with. So these two things are variable. Other than that, your mass and charge all are what? All are constant. So if you put all these values, you will get it as 0.529. Now for hydrogen atom, if you take it for z is equals to 1, then what it will come out to be? It will be 0.529 n square by 1 angstrom. Now, if we take z is equals to 4 for beryllium 3 plus, then your radius will be accordingly 0.529 n square by 4 angstrom. So where for beryllium, z is equals to 4, very simple. Now it is given that this radius is same. Okay, so we have to find that which radius will be same. So if we take n is equals to 2 for beryllium, then we will find that this radius comes out to be same. Clear? So for hydrogen atom, n is equals to 1, that is 0.529 by 1. Now here it is 0.529 n square by 4. So if you take n is equals to 2, 4 and 4 will get cancelled out, and you will get the same value which is on the left hand side for the hydrogen atom. So hence we can say that for beryllium 3 plus, we can have and for n is equals to 2 we will have the same value as that of the hydrogen Bohr hydrogen atom. Clear? 0.5 to 9 angstrom. Now moving on to next question. Question number 14. Question number 14 says that in Bohr series of lines of hydrogen spectrum, the third line from the red end correspond to which one of the following inter-orbit jumps of the electron for Bohr's orbit in an atom of hydrogen? Your options are A 5 to 2, option B 4 to 1, option C 2 to 5, and option D 3 to 2. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see how we'll solve it. The question is saying that in Bohr series lines of hydrogen spectrum, the third line from the red end. Okay, so all the transitions have been asked. So the third line from the red end correspond to which one of the following inter-orbit jumps of the electron from Bohr's orbit in an atom of hydrogen. So inter-orbit means from one orbit to another. Now the correct answer is 5 to 2 first of all. So solution, as sun is of red color, so the line lies in visible region. Okay, and obviously only the Balmer series is the one which correspond to the visible region. So in Bohr series we consider all the series, Lehman, Balmer, all are considered the Bohr series, but we are considering it from the red end, so that means it is visible. Okay, so red end means from the you can say from the red light, so means the transition which is corresponding to red light. Now red light means we are able to see that now yet. So only one series is there which has visible region, means which radiates light in visible region, that is your Balmer series. And for Balmer series, n1 is equals to 2 means the final orbit in which the electron will go from higher to lower. So the lower energy will be 2. Okay, so there is one thing that is considering n1 is equals to 2 and it is 5 to 2. Okay, so therefore we will take n2 is equals to 5. So the jump that is involved, it is from 5 to 2. Clear? Now moving on to next question. Question number 15. Question number 15 says that when the electron of a hydrogen atom jumps from n is equals to 4 to the n is equals to 1 state, the number of spectral line emitted is. Options are A 15, B 6, C 3, D 4. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the solution. So the question is saying that, so we are say bringing the electron from n is equals to 1, n is equals to 4 to n is equals to 1. So what are the number of spectral line that is emitted? So see the transition, you may think of it as from 4 to 1 in a different pattern. You can take different pattern. You can go from 5 to 3, then 3 to 1. You can go from 4 to 2 and then 2 to 1. You can do it in two terms also, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, and 2 to 1. Okay, and you can directly go from 4 to 1. So you have to see that how many such spectral lines are possible. So first of all, the correct answer is B, which is 6. Now the formula that we know is that for your calculation of number of spectral line, it is n into n minus 1 by 2. Right? Where n is what? It is the n is your higher orbit from where we are doing the from where we are coming doing the transition. So n is equals to 4 here, and this capital N is what? It is the number of lines emitted. So again I am saying it, so the number of transitions that it will do, it will be the number of spectral lines also, means that because for each transition you will get what? You will radiate some energy, and that energy is being recorded in terms of the spectral lines, right? So all anyways, so we'll keep n is small n is equals to 4. So 4 into 4 minus 1 by 2. So that will give you 4 into 5 by 2. 2 to the 4, and that will give you ultimately 6. Sorry, 4 into 3 by 2. So for 2 to the 4 and 3 to the 6. So 6 is the correct answer. Clear? So we have solved this type of question earlier also. Now moving on to next question. Question number 16. Question number 16 says that the wave number of first line of Balmer series of hydrogen is 15,200 centimeter inverse. The wave number of first Balmer series of lithium 2 plus ion is, your options are A 15,200 centimeter inverse, option B 60,800 centimeter inverse, option C 76,000 centimeter inverse, option D 1,36,800 centimeter inverse. Now let us see the solution. Before that, you have 10 seconds to solve the question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the solution. The question says that the wave number for the first line of Balmer series is given. The wave number value is 15,200 centimeter inverse. So what we have to find? The wave number for the first line of lithium 2 plus we have to find. Okay, ion. The correct answer is first of all 1,36,800 centimeter inverse, which is option D. Now for hydrogen atom, we know that wave number is given by the formula nu bar is equals to r multiplied by 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. Now for other atoms or ions whose z is not unknown, we multiplied this whole value by z square. But we know that it is for lithium 2 plus, so and this value is given as 15,200. Okay, we multiplied by 3 square. Okay, so this is the formula for hydrogen atom, this much. Okay, we know this. And if you have to find for other atom, you have to multiply it by z square. So this value is already given, which is 15,200 centimeter, and we put this value, which is z. So that will give you 3 square. Overall, your value will become 1,36,800 centimeter inverse. So this will be your answer. Good enough. Moving on to next question. Question number 17. So question number 17 says that the wave number of the first emission line in the Balmer series of hydrogen spectrum is, in bracket, r is equals to what? Your Rydberg constant. So the options include this r value, so it is given. So options are A 5 by 36 r, B r by 400 r, sorry 9 by 400 r, option C 7 by 6 r, option D 3 by 4 r. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Now let us see a solution. So the question says that the wave number of the first line in the Balmer series of hydrogen spectrum is, you have to find that value. And we have to take r is equals to Rydberg constant. Okay, so you have to take r as your Rydberg constant and not the actual value. The answer is A 5 by 36 r. The explanation it will be, so for Balmer series we know that the final state where your electron will arrive will be n is equals to 2, means the second orbit. Now what is the first emission line? The emission line that we are seeing from just one above the ground state, right? So it is already given n1 is equals to 2, that the first transition will be from n1 plus 1. Okay, that is n2 can be given as n1 plus 1. If you put this value, so the first emission line value will come out to be 2 plus 1. Okay, because the final line is 2 and the first emission that we will see will be coming from the line that is just adjacent above the 2, which is 3. Of course, very easy to calculate. N plus 1, that will give you 3. Now we know the formula to calculate the wave number, which is nu bar is equals to RH 1 by n square by 1 by n minus 1 by n2 square. Now keeping all this value, so n1 is equals to 2 and n1 is equals to 2 and n2 is equals to 3. So r multiplied by 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 3 square. So we have taken RH as r. It is already mentioned here that you have to take your Rydberg constant as r. So 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 3 square. So if you just calculate this, this will give you 5 by 36 multiplied by r. So this is your what? This is your first emission line wave number value. Now moving on to next question. Question number 18. Question number 18 says that if the shortest wavelength of hydrogen atom in Lyman series is x. Okay, this is the shortest wavelength is given for the Lyman series, and the longest wavelength in Balmer series of helium plus is what? We have to calculate this. Options are A 9x by 5, option B 36x by 5, option C x by 4, option D 5x by 9. So you have 10 seconds to solve this question. Your time starts now. Okay, now let us see the solution, how we can solve it. First of all, let us try to understand the question. For the question, it is being given that your shortest wavelength value is given. Okay, so it is taken as x, and you have to calculate it for the longest wavelength. The correct answer is A, which is 9x by 5. Now let us see the explanation. So for the shortest wavelength, the energy should be maximum. Means the difference in energy should be maximum, right? So for that energy to be maximum, the electrons should transit from n2 is equals to infinity. So it is given here. Again, I am repeating it. So you have to get it for the shortest wavelength. Now for the shortest wavelength, the energy difference should be maximum because E is inversely proportional to lambda. For that reason, we have taken the transition from the maximum outside. So that will be infinity. So the electron is coming from infinity to 1. So accordingly, we will use the formula 1 by lambda minute. In terms of minute, we are calculating RH multiplied by Rydberg constant multiplied by Z square. Okay, Z square is, Z value is 1. So 1 square. 1 by 1 square minus 1 by infinity square. That will give you RH is equals to 1 by x. Clear? RH is equals to 1 by x. We have found this thing from here. How? Because this 1 by lambda minimum value is already given. 1 by wavelength value is taken as x. Therefore, RH is equals to 1 by x. Now for the longest wavelength, what we will do? And that also is the Balmer series. Means the final state is 2. Longest wavelength means the shortest energy gap. So from 3 to 2 is the shortest energy gap. So N2 is equals to 3. And since we are taking the helium atom in the second case, so Z is equals to 2. So putting all this value, 1 by lambda x RH into 2 square in bracket 1 by 2 square by 1 by 3 square. That will give you your RH multiplied by 5 by 9 if you calculate this. Okay, we have taken 2 square because your helium atom is having a Z value 2, so we have taken 2 square. Now, RH value, we have already calculated this value as 1 by x. So we put this RH value here, which is 1 by x, and then 1 by x multiplied by 5 by 9. But what we have to find? We have to find the wavelength. So, putting this thing 1 by x in terms of RH, we will get the value of lambda max x, which is equals to lambda max, which is equal to 9 by 5 of x. So this is your correct answer, which is option A. So with this, we have practiced all the questions from 10 to 18. Thank you.